nyumba yange akataba kabugye laba sanga madasi mukati muvumu kufulunga luji twaleka ndamuomo abatari ba muri bakaleti mu nyumba yange mukadaba da fili dango mukadaba da tudawa wawo one bakanyuka akabe kabo natikana na mojaji afa nani mukakako nenga batusanga abasate ku ubayi kali solid yawe mama baje nzali
amukadevao bombo kirati
wallahi ya Mungu baje Mungu nafana msirikala hivi
Devina kari kwa vitu ade mula kuma kalulu
It was 9th of October 1962 when the nation was born, beautiful and endowed with the promise of democracy. With unity, diversity, all on a mission to build a nation that would make life better for the future generations. Well, indeed, we are that generation, the grandchildren of the independence generation, and oh yes, parents, the future generations. We must, within ourselves, find solutions, since our leaders don't seem to care for the next generation, but instead care for the next general election.
Breaking news about the Ugandan's election. The president of Uganda, Museveni, has been spotted leaving the state house in Geneva heading to Rachtura. His convoy has been spotted leaving the state house being escorted to Rachtura. Now, President Museveni, in all the previous elections, he has been always in Entebbe State House, or if not so, in Nakasero State House during the election period, and he has never left the State House, either Nakasero or either in Entebbe or the State Lodge in Nakasero. He has never left it during the election period. Now everyone is getting surprised after spotting his convoy heading to Rachura towards this election, tomorrow's election. Some have described this as an act of fear, that the president is in fear of what might happen post the election. And now, even looking at the way he has deployed all over the cities of Uganda, even the jets that have never come out during the previous elections have been brought out this time round. Every army machine, every machinery that has never been used during the election has been brought out to be used during this election. Now, every Ugandan is asking, what is going to happen? Why has the president left the state house and headed to his home in Rachtura? Stay on. We are going to keep you updated all through the election. We are focusing on Uganda only right now until the election is done. Follow me to be kept updated.
Mabigao basabana mabigao boda zikudao buli kimu abasajja babo bagala tukuba masisi bane mutusabire gwe na muna Uganda aliyeyo boy wange mbine ebintu nguluza bya kusaga basajja basa abantu basajja batukuba boy tulina okuwana paka musajja batumuje mu ntebe abana bafudde abana b'abantu bafudde bane mutusabire bannange mutusabire baboy abana bagudde wansawo abana babamenye abana baba boy nga tovudde ku lwensi omwana oli mubi nnyo obulamu bwaffe bugenda nete tulina musango tugenda kulwana paka tugenda lwana bannange
kabiri yatametse ko mu cya kabiri
abateze
president ariyo nabuza ngo what is the matter where is the problem fingerprint ya kashata no jangu polling assistant na tetema tabi president agumiza TV muresere bicha
kongesho lungi hata koma katinshonga ya president nakachikwa kidogo
electoral commission
yes sako makayanga akachikwa
na tekwa kwa maski bascanning face kokano jirangu ogwari na ateza karuroje kufitete mata
Omukulu nditinga okunyambe ngale mwebera bize ngakolo kufunira kubanga kubanga nabuna ali mukulonda ali mukulonda andi kanamba katugwa kitu omuteke yuko tumuleke mukwata mu Uganda andi kati kubanga wuna ali mukulonda wanga kike mwana tusire
Election must have clear rules. It must have set rules which everybody needs to follow. Now this morning we started moving around. Voting was supposed to begin at 7 a.m. but by now in many places people are still calling us to find out what is going on because the BVK machines which the Electoral Commission said were mandatory to be used in this election have failed maybe at 90% of the places. Oh, I've been looking in the press. I called the Electoral Commission as Secretary General of NUP, and the Electoral Commission said they have issued a new directive for people to vote manually. But remember, there's no internet. There's this information to reach our people everywhere. That's why many people are calling me to ask me whether they should go on or not. when you go into an election, there must be set rules, which everybody gets to know. The people of Uganda were told by everybody that this election must follow BVVK. Now, on the last, we said let's do manual voting. We have already told the nation that there are so many multiple entries in that register. We have been revealing some of them, where you find the person who's registered here at TLC and registered in Kampala. So this is really to show you that everything that is a sham and it is deliberate.
Bana emumaze okulonda okulonda kubadde kutya bannaye kulonda de kulaba otambula omanga temukola babalese ubeka lugonze nemudira obuma bwa 10 nemubulera kati obuma bwe balese tebulina network obuma busaba ID ya mwaka kulyo kwa 2020 ndabye mubala mugenda kuyimirira wa ono apande we bali kulonda komya orukoba nawe twagala menya mateeka twagala tubeere ku mateeka gakoma wano twagala kitaabiri gakoma wano Kutagira mitali kuliko kutwajirese kulikula iliko kwagala subwa kachiko kabya kulonda ko yamwe singa ebyo kwerinda tebikataganya kuli kuchituku mitame abiri kali muchoge ko jaba abebyo kwerinda bagaye mudde tugenda kudda wakaba tugamba abebyo kwerinda bagalo tuze wakabuli jobe batuzayo uje batwale waka tugenda kakuma bakabale baluka banje jobe batuze waka tulinye kukukuma kati kweli kumaze by process kakume waka no nyaka tukalonze obu asase kukuma atugamba obuma yabaka bagenda kunyonyola mbere y'abalondesa esoketi obyumo okutuuka obukulikulya wano Museveni na mu bubiri ni 10-17 mukama webale nate ndani banyivu ngatabu kudde wadala
Sebo. Onkulamusiza Sebo.
amannya go amatuufu era abantu babuulire kiki ekigenda okukolebwa ekiro kya leero bategeere tumanye protest vote etandikira ludda wa.
Amanya gange enkulu mu bige bali kusebwe bali kunnoonyako
kaleso
era njagala okwebaza Abannayuganda okuvaayo mu bungi ne bakuba akalulu naye okusingira ddala neebaza pulezidenti waffe Robert Kyagulanyi okutuzaamu amaanyi okutulaga nti tulina hope n'ayimirira amidst all intimidation n'akola ogugwe naffe first phase of ogwaffe tugukoze tukakubye umye abaana bakakommunikatinga akati tuzaako last phase yakukabanja naye nga sinagenda awo amanya gange nze Aaron Masimbi.
Yes, sir.
Abasinga obungi mu ya technology mu Uganda mu Kampala awo
buli omu munne mu ngeri eyo yennyini gy'agala okuyisibwa. Olunaku lwa leero lwennyini nange kennyini
in the streets. Up to 15,000 people were murdered, not in battle, but in cold
So Muchala.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. Huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school and for the school van contribution later? Huh?
Hoods emptied, entire families erased. These are not statistics. People were murdered, not in battle, but in cold, targeted violence. In April 2024, who loved. These are children who once played in the same streets are now filled with fear and blood, visible even from space. These are elders who survived one genocide only to face another. And here is the hardest truth. Most of the world doesn't know their names. Most of the world has not heard their stories. Most of the world has moved on. But the people of Sudan have not given up. They still help one another. They still share what little they have. They still believe that someone, somewhere, will help. Hope is powerful, but hope alone cannot stop bullets and cannot stop genocide. And we must speak honestly about the forces that make this violence possible. Sudanese activists, UN investigators, and human rights organizations have repeatedly warned that genocide in Darfur is not happening in isolation. It is being fueled by external actors. And among the most frequently named is the United Arab Emirates, accused of supplying weapons, funding, political support that have strengthened the rapid support forces' hand. When a militia commits mass killings and another state supplies the tools that make the killings possible, people on the ground see that as complicity. It's partnership in their destruction. And we must also be honest that the Sudanese armed forces, the other party to the conflict, not invested in this story. They created the rapid support forces in the first place. They empowered it for years and have themselves implicated in grave abuse against civilians. And so for Sudanese families, this is not a war between heroes and villains. It is a war in which every armed actor has treated civilians' lives as expendable. Tonight, I want to ask you to imagine something simple. Imagine the place you love, your hometown, your childhood street, the place where your memories live. Waking up that half the people you know are gone. That is what happened in Al Fashir. And yet, the world has not acted with the urgency the moment demands. So tonight, I'm asking, but as a human being, to refuse to look away. Sudanese lives matter. Sudanese families matter. Sudanese suffering deserves world's attention, compassion, and action. This is not a distant crisis. This is a test of who we are. We believe real life has equal value. We believe that no community should face extermination in silence. We believe that humanity means standing with those who are being crushed. If we do, then we cannot stay quiet. There is the call to action. Speak about Sudan is happening, push your leaders to act, demand protection for civilians, demand humanitarian access, demand accountability not only for the RSF commanders who carry out these crimes, also for the governments and networks that arm them, fund them, enable them. Your voice may feel small, but silence is what allows atrocities to grow. The people of Al Fashir once opened their doors to the world. Now they need the world to open its heart to them. Let us be the generation that refuses to look away. Let us be the people who chose courage over comfort. Let us be the reason Sudan knows it has never been forgotten. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to announce a slight change in our schedule. The International Women's Rights will be presented instead after the lunch break at 10 minutes to 4 at 3:50 p.m. Now we're going to continue with the presentation of the 2020 Courage Award. Thank you for your understanding.
Invitation. It is a great honor to stand here today at the Geneva Summit for Human Rights and Democracy, a place where courage is not only discussed, but recognized and celebrated. I have the privilege of presenting the 2026 Courage Award, prize awarded each year by the 30 human rights organizations that co-sponsor this summit, to recognize those courage in the defense of freedom and human dignity. Because courage is not a natural state. It is something that you wake up with. It is added afterwards, once fear has finished writing the script and placed the final full stop. Courage is a footnote to fear and to life. The main text speaks of doubt. In it, all rational arguments not to act are stacked upon another. The footlists reminding us of the possibility of doing the opposite. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is a movement over the edge. So even dictates and admonishes, it is courage, that italicized addition at the bottom, at the margin, that allows us to turn the page and to write history. The brave Iranian people stand ready to lead. Leading the struggle against Islamism are the women, the controlled, the silenced, the erased, each bearing the weight of lonely, uncomfortable, life-threatening courage. In Iran, courage is not shown by the one who speaks loudest, by the one who is no longer silent. The history of humanity is not written by oppressors alone. It is also written by those who refuse to remain silent, to go, to march in lockstep. What we are witnessing may be a historic moment, but it's only in hindsight that we know with certainty when fear changes owners, when the roles reverse, when fear, almost unnoticed, leaves the masses and moves silently to the despot himself. Suddenly, fears the very masses he once oppressed. Then, in retrospect, one can often identify the spark that ignited the fire, the moment when the people finally find the strength to rise, fully aware that life itself is at stake. The moment when the despot realizes reality has caught up and there is no going back. When control evaporates, when the military and police join the people, when the facade finally crumbles, when walls are torn down, when people are reunited, when all that seemed impossible suddenly becomes real and self-evident. It is then we are reminded again that history can always take new, unforeseen paths, and that these paths are ultimately shaped by the courageous choices of frightened people. It is then we are reminded again that the logic of dictatorship manifested in oppression, control, and misery is always war with human nature and her longing for freedom. Iranian women pose a threat to nearly half a set of Islamist oppression. System-built denial of freedom, of subjunction, and on obedience. Female body used to a battlefield, but hair to a crime scene, clothing and free will to a moral test. The woman who shows her hair is deemed a threat to the very foundations of society. The woman who speaks freely is regarded as a security risk, and she who refuses to obey is punished as an enemy of the regime with death. The full stop to a life half lived. And yet, or perhaps precisely because of this, it is the women who have carried the struggle for freedom the furthest. Woman, life, freedom, the beginning of a revolution. Beyond the slogan, they offer a path forward and indeed are manifest in today's laureate. Spice, murderous attempts, he is a woman who has chosen life and who will achieve freedom. Masih Alinejad, whom the devil's henchmen in Tehran have tried to murder 3 times, who is forced into an existence in the shadows, has not had the luxury of being vague, or the privilege of being neutral. When power demanded loyalty, you chose truth. When silence was offered as a protection, you chose to speak. When fear's monologue presented rational arguments, you chose courage's footnote. You are a reminder that freedom is not born of consensus or the diplomacy of comfort, but out of conflict and of taking a stand. But every step forward requires someone to go first. It is an honor for me personally to present Masih Alinejad to you, not only to recognize her work, but to take a stand. Stand for all Iranian women's rights to own their own lives, against Islamism's claim to absolute power, for the principle that no state, religion, or ideology ever stand the individual human being. History will remember those who excuse the brutality and those who close their ears to the Iranian lion's abyssal roar. But history will also those who stood up when it was dangerous, lonely, and therefore essential. Masih Alinejad, thank you for transforming fear into courage, for never compromising. Thank you for reminding the world what freedom costs and why it is always worth the price. I am very honored to invite Masih Alinejad to please come forward and receive the 2026 Courage Award on behalf of the heroes of Iran. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Before starting, you heard two slogans here from Iranians. One chanted "Land live Shah," the other one chanted "Women life freedom." These two chants is forbidden, and both of them get killed by my government. No, not government. The terrorist regime killed those people if they chant this simple slogan. That's what I am fighting for. That my people to be allowed to chant whatever they want, because this is 21st century. Iranians deserve to have freedom, dignity, democracy. Thank you for coming here. Thank you so much for this recognition. But let me be very, very honest. Before coming on a stage, my brother in arms, Leopoldo Lopez, gave me a hug and said, "Leave your written note away, talk from your heart." This is a lot. But I want to be honest with myself, with every of you here. I didn't want to come here and receive this award because the entire nation being traumatized. because Iranians have faced massacre. More than 40,000 for hours. And I am like millions of Iranians, traumatized. And I thought, I don't deserve to receive an award. I felt the guilt on my shoulder. I said, we need action, not an award. We need to cease of the word, bring shame to the government, and stop legitimizing them. Not ceremony. But then I told myself, this award comes from UN Watch. Years and years, we have been alone in our because Western leaders abandon Iranian people. But UN Watch was there, inviting dissidents, activists, leaders, the true representatives of Iran. And this is I myself awards means we are together and we're going to stand united to expel the officials of the Islamic Republic from this country. I accept this award because I believe that what you did, you changed the narrative of the West. That's why many Iranians call you Uncle Hillel. Thank you so much. Yes, that's the that I came here, but I accept this award not for myself, and I'm not here to talk for myself. I want to introduce my real heroes, the people of Iran, especially those who have been killed and those who carry the bullets on their own bodies. Two of them are sitting among you. And now I want them to stand up. One of them was shot in her eye, deliberately blinded by the regime in Iran. Kosar Iftikhari. She lost her eyesight, but not hope. She left her daughter at home and joined the uprising. She carries the bullet. She lost one of her arm, barely moving her arm. They are not victims. Look at their eyes. Look at their faces. They are the warriors. They are the freedom fighters. And now I address you, European leaders, Europeans. I'm asking you, every single of you, would you stand with them or with their killers? Would you stand in Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Before starting, you heard two slogans here from Iranians. One chanted, "Long live Shah." The other one chanted, "Women like freedom." These two chants forbidden, and both of them get killed by my government. No, not government. The terrorist regime killed those people if they chant this simple slogan. That's what I am fighting for. That my people to be allowed to chant whatever they want, because this is 21st century. They deserve to have freedom, dignity, democracy. Thank you for coming here. Thank you so much for this recognition. But let me be very, very honest. Before coming on a stage, my brother in arms, Leopoldo Lopez, gave me a hug and said, "Leave your written note away, talk from your heart." This is a lot. But I want to be honest with myself, with every single of you here. I didn't want to come here and receive this award because the entire nation is being traumatized. Because Iranians have faced massacre. More than 40,000 people only in 24 hours. And I am like millions of Iranians, traumatized. And I thought, I don't deserve to receive an award. I feel the guilt on my shoulder. I said, we need action, not an award. We need to see that the rest of the world bring shame to the government and stop legitimizing them, not ceremony. But then I told myself, this award comes from UN Watch, from Geneva Summit. For years and years, we have been alone in our fight because Western leaders abandon Iranian people. But UN Watch was there, inviting dissidents, activists, leaders, the true representatives of Iranians on this stage. And I said myself, if this award means that we are together and we're going to stand united to expel the officials of the Islamic Republic from this country, I accept this award because I believe that what you did, you changed the narrative of the West. That's why many Iranians call you Uncle Hillel. Thank you so much. Yes, that's the only reason that I came here. But I accept this award not for myself, and I'm not here to talk for myself. I want to introduce my real heroes, the people of Iran, especially those who have been killed and those who carry the bullets on their own bodies. Two of them are sitting among you. And now I want them to stand up. One of them was shot in her eye, deliberately blinded by the regime in Iran. Kosar Iftikhari. She lost her eyesight, but not hope. The other one, mother of amazing daughter Juan. She left her daughter at home and joined the uprising. She carries the bullet. She lost one of her arm, barely moving her arm. They are not victims. Look at their eyes. Look at their faces. They are the warriors. They are the freedom fighters. And now I address you, European leaders, European citizens. I'm asking you, every single of you, would you stand with them or with their killers? Would you stand in solidarity with these heroes? Thank you. Thank you. Or you stand with those who are shooting them. Now I want to ask them to come on a stage because I want everyone to stand for them. I want everyone to stand for the victims. I want everyone to stand with 40,000 people who have been killed. Thank you so much. They are carrying the pictures of their brothers who have been killed in this recent uprising. Thank you, Kosar, Sima. If you want to say anything, I dedicated this award to you because you are the real heroes alongside millions of Iranians. If you have something to say. I think you understood everything she said. Because with her pain, struggle and bravery. I don't even want to translate. She says this belongs to millions of Iranians who want to end this regime. And here we're standing to say that no negotiation with our killers. Oh, Sergeant. Oh, sir, if you want to say something. Islamic Republic is a machinery of weapons of massacring unarmed and innocent Iranians.
مردم ایران با دستانی خالی با رژیمی تا بن دندان مسلح مبارزه می کنند.
My people with empty hands are fighting with a government. They have guns and bullets and weapons and everything.
اگر مدعیان حقوق بشر هستید، اگر هنوز انسانیت برای شما زنده است،
if you claim that you care for human rights, hear our message.
کنار مردمان دست خالی انقلابی ایران بایستید.
Stand with the people who do not have anything but their voice, because this is a revolution. Thank you, Co-Sergeant. Thank you so much.
زندگی آزادی. Yeah, woman, life, freedom.
Merci. امسال سال خونه سیدانی سرنگونه. Just last month, on January 16, I was invited by the United States of America to brief the United Nations Security Council. I took the opportunity to challenge Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I want to ask you, because a lot of people think that I carry the anger of Iranians. People believe that I survived 3 assassination plots. I have too much emotion, so maybe I am radical. So I want to name 3 steps that the United Nations took right after the massacre. Ask you tell me if this United Nations would stand with the people of Iran or dictators. First, Secretary General invited Araghchi, Foreign Minister of the Islamic Republic. Their hand is full of blood, to give a talk at the United Nations without actually condemning the massacre. He sent a congratulation letter to this murderous regime. You tell me, does he stand with the people or dictators? Think about it. Second, the United Nations now appointed a woman who was in charge of oppressing Iranian women, Nadipur, Saneh Nadipur, giving her a role at Human Rights Council. I know. Unfortunately, the United Nations became a sad joke. Govern a regime that blind women, a regime that even tell you men here sitting that if you listen to the voice of women singing, you get provoked and you rape them. This is the mentality of this regime now being in charge to monitor women's rights globally. This is an insult, not to Iranians, to you, to everyone who live in democratic countries. But these killers are in charge to make sure your human rights being protected. How do you feel? Islamic Republic, the Islamic Republic was elected as vice chair for the Commission for Social Development, body which promotes democracy, tolerance, non-violence, and gender equality. Recently, right after the massacre, the Islamic Republic jails and kills anyone who criticizes Ali Khamenei. They rape women in prison. I hope if you turn to these slogans, you will be killed. Now, they are in charge. Make sure democracy, non-violence activity, and equality is being practiced by you in democratic countries. This is a slap on the face of democracy. So that's why when you leave this place, think about it. The United Nations stands with the victims or with dictators. I challenge Europeans. Please don't change your mind and quit dividing me. Especially so much when I heard Swedish introduce me, I got almost heart attack. Yeah, because the Swedish feminist cabinet betrayed Iranian women. And then when I read about you, I was like, thank you. Finally, somebody decided to stop being politically correct and name them who they are, Islamists, terrorists. In 2015, I came here at Geneva Summit, after launching a campaign against compulsory veiling, fighting against the entire regime. Iranian women were walking unveiled, challenging Ali Khamenei and his wall of dictatorship. I warned the representative of European Parliament, petitions from Netherlands, Germany, all over the world, bowing Iranian